I'm the Director of the Institute of Child Protection Studies, which is based on the Canberra campus of the university. I've been in this role for 5 years, but I've been working in the university since 1996. The role of the Institute is basically to carry out research that has an impact on policy and practice for children and young people, particularly vulnerable children and young people and their families. We do involve ourselves in professional development of practitioners throughout Canberra and nationally, and we also are involved in doing some undergraduate and postgraduate teaching in the School of Social Work. Before I joined the Institute, I was an academic lecturer in the School of Social Work. I wasn't one of the foundation members of the school, but I did work as a sessional as I was completing my PhD studies in the mid-90s. It was in 1997 that I came on staff, and I taught a range of subjects, as most academics do. I taught sociology and public policy and research methods. And as the time went on, I was very involved in the development of our new postgraduate program, which again was reflecting the sorts of partnerships that we have in the ACT. We established in fact, the first specialised child welfare postgraduate program in Australia. And that was a very exciting role to have at that time, was to be the postgraduate coordinator. So it seemed like a really obvious step then for me to go from that to establishing the Institute. The reason why the Institute was established was as a result of a recommendation of a review into child protection in the ACT, which recommended that there be closer links between the university and government. The university was asked to be involved as a partner because of our long-standing relationship with the ACT government, and an obvious partner in the sense that we're the only face-to-face social work provider in the ACT. So it was an obvious place for us to situate the Institute, and I think it represents quite a unique partnership in Australia between government and universities, where they've actually invested in developing the capacity of the Institute to provide research services and other sorts of resources to policy and practitioners throughout Australia. Some of the current work we're doing is, as you can imagine, most of it's focused on children and very vulnerable families. The biggest one we've done to date, and it's been quite a logistical challenge, was to carry out 80 in-depth interviews with very vulnerable parents to really explore their experience of services. And some of the key findings there will be used directly in the development of the new family relationship program from the Commonwealth's perspective. Another exciting project which came out of one of the projects that we're very proud of, which was a study that explored children's experiences of homelessness. Again, the first study that had been carried out talking to children directly, which was carried out by Tim Moore and a team. But that led to the development of what was required for practitioners to work with children in homelessness services. So we've been commissioned by the ACT government and funded by FAXIA to develop a toolkit for services about how to talk to children under different circumstances, how to ensure that they participate in the decision making. And that toolkit is eagerly awaited by the rest of Australia, really. It's again the first of its kind. We're very keen to attract PhD students to the Institute and obviously to the university. At the moment we have one PhD student, that's Tim Moore, and he's doing an incredibly important study on the assumptions and constructions of children in research. We're hoping that we will be able to attract more funds to have some PhD students, and we're also hoping for some postdoctoral funds next year to be able to continue the work that some PhD students are doing in our children and young people. I think the reasons why people might find carrying out research an exciting activity is its potential to influence and change things. One of the things about the research that the Institute does, we're not really interested in producing knowledge for knowledge's sake. We're only interested in producing knowledge that actually leads to change. And I think that's a critical component to applied research, and that's why it makes it so exciting. When we talk to our social work students, a lot of them want to do casework and counselling. So if you're someone who's really interested in improving things and trying to get things to change, then research is one way that can be done. You can use those research findings to change people's minds.